Hello friends, welcome back to another video. So in this video we are going to be taking a look at the functionality and the capabilities that are provided by Wazuh Manager and the whole SIEM solution that is provided by Wazuh. So uh, if you haven't watched my previous video about how to set up Wazuh virtual machine on your system, so you should probably check that out. So you are following with these videos and you have better understanding how all of these things work. So in this video we are just going to be taking a look at all the functionality and feature set of Wazuh, and in the upcoming videos we are going to be taking a look at in further detail about each individual functionality, so that you can understand how Wazuh work and how you can customize it according to the needs of your organization. So let's get started. The the overall layout of the manager interface of Wazuh is built on Kibana. So how the whole infrastructure work is like the whole solution is divided into three parts. Like there is Elasticsearch that handles all the logs and all event information that is coming from the agents. Then there's FileBit that segregate all the logs that are coming from the agent to the manager, and then stores those logs into the Elasticsearch. And then there is the third layer, Kibana, which is the front end of the Wazuh SIEM, which is used to see all the information that is coming from all the agents, and that helps to visualize all the things that are inside the logs for better understanding. So if we take a look at over here, the whole interface is divided into four parts. Like here are the things that are related to security and information management. Then there is auditing and policy, and the third one is threat detection and response, and the last part is about compliance. So in the each part there are things that are related to a particular area of cybersecurity. In the information and security management, like we have all the security events that are going on the system. Like you can see that there was how many events that were executed on the system. Like if you see over here, there was system logon success, like the user successfully logged into the system. And then there was log off, the user logged off of the system, and how many times that action happened on the particular agent. And then there is integrity checksum change. Like integrity is like if there is any change in the files present on the system, it will be monitored by the Wazuh agent and then reported back to the system. And there is another security event related to remote code execution vulnerability that is in the Windows graphic device interface, and it detects that and report that back to the manager, where it is segregated and displayed over according to the rule sets. And over here you can see the total number of events that were generated by the agents. Like this interface shows all the events that are being generated by all the agents. So over here we can see that there are three agents, and all of them generated around about 2065 events. And in those events there were 24 events that were above level 12 or near level 12, and there was no authentication failure, and there were 121 authentication successfuls. So the OSEC, how the OSEC rule set work is like there are different levels of alerts. From 1 to 5 it is low, 5 to 6, 5 to 8 it is medium and high, and 10 above are critical. So the whole segregation of events and the security alerts is based on that. So the next part of security and information management is like integrity monitoring. So whenever you are doing malware analysis and you are taking a look at any rootkits or viruses that are infecting the system, the first thing that they change is like they change some particular files on the system. So what this integrity monitoring does is like it helps you take a look at how many files were changed, which files were changed in the particular time, and you can then take a look at what was changed in that file and dig deeper about understanding what that particular software did. So this is a pretty neat functionality. You can by default it monitors Windows Windows directories and some document directories and then registry entries, but you can also add custom directories to monitor. And then there is AWS monitoring. So what it is pretty straightforward by the title that it monitors all of your AWS instances or that are running on the cloud, and you can then link up Wazuh Manager and the AWS API together to get all the event logs uh, uh, from your AWS instances or AWS services, and then all those logs will be shown over here, and then you can perform different security analysis on those logs. So the next part is policy monitoring. Like what you can do in auditing and policy monitoring is we use different uh, rules and settings for assessing the configuration on the particular systems. Like there is OpenSAP. It monitors all the settings that are on the system with the secure configuration that should be on those Windows on those systems, it either if it's Windows or Linux, and these uh, uh, all all portions do monitor the system configuration settings. If there are configurations that are not up to the standard of secure configuration, so it will be marked over here, and then you can dig deeper into that and view how you can improve your configuration settings. And then there is regulatory and compliance. In this, it monitors all your systems according to the compliance recommendations and requirements that are provided by the compliance regulatory authority. And over here you can take a look at what requirements are not getting uh, met and what requirements are being failed. So you can then take a look at those and fix those issues accordingly. As you can see over here, it monitors PCI DSS, GDPR, HIPAA, and NIST. So you can get a better understanding. We will be taking a deeper look into each setting in the further videos, so don't worry about that if it all looks a bit confusing. And in the threat detection and response, there are different sections. Like you can then there is a section about vulnerabilities. You can it automatically scans all your agents for vulnerabilities that might be on the system, and it just doesn't check all the Windows vulnerabilities. It also checks for the third party softwares that you have installed on the system, and check if the version installed have any vulnerabilities on that particular version. So like as you can see over here, I have Windows 7 agent that has some vulnerabilities. Then there is Windows 10 agent that has some vulnerabilities, and then there are vulnerabilities related to Mozilla Firefox. version 72.0.2, and you can then further look down over here like what the vulnerabilities are, and you can categorize according to the severity. Like you can see the critical ones over here and the higher ones after that. And the scan is periodic, like it scans the system after 24 hours, and you can change the setting accordingly. Then there is a virus total integration, so you can integrate your whole SIEM solution with virus total, and you can add the premium virus total API with in the SIEM's configuration. And what it will do is it will automatically scan all the files that are present on the system, and you can also specify the directories that you want to scan, and it will scan those files with the virus total API. And if it detects any malicious file, it will generate an alert on the interface, and then you can look at that file further to get a better understanding about if that file is a malicious file or just a false positive. And then there is a OS query integration, which converts your whole operating system into a SQL query type format. Like you can run queries that are more related to database, and you can get particular information related to the system. Like you can get all the running processes and list all users on the system and things like that. And that is pretty helpful when you are digging deep to understand if there was some malicious action done on the system. And you can also monitor Docker containers that are running on the system. I will also cover that in the upcoming videos. And the next section is management. You can manage all the rule sets that are in the Wazuh manager. Like there are rule set for events, and then there are rule set for intrusion detection and Windows firewall, Windows web proxy rules. You can look at those rules and see what the rules are doing. And you can also create your custom rules that corresponds to your own configuration. Then there are decoders. Decoders are pretty are simple scripts that take a custom rule set and then sees is uh, what information is there that is in the log, and then decode that log according to the different fields and show them in the Kibana interface. So these are pretty helpful. Then there are lists. These lists are CDB list. It contains all the different IPs of known malicious vectors. Like if there are IPs that are related to CN command and control servers, it will have those lists. And you can add your custom list of malicious IPs or websites or any domains that you want to add here. And if Wazuh managers detects any of those lists in the logs, any of those IPs in the list in the logs of the agents, it will automatically trigger an alert that this system is trying to communicate with that IP. And you can also get these lists from Alien Vault. Alien Vault has an open source list for all the malicious IPs that you can download and add over here. And I will be covering that uh, part 2 over here. Then there's a section for groups. Like you can categorize your agents according to the groups. Like if you have 10 Windows agents and 10 Linux agents, you can create a particular group of Windows and add all the agents of all the Windows agents in that group. And then you can create another group of Linux and add all the Linux agents in that group. So you can segregate both agents based on their OS. And then what is great in the group segregation is like you can control a centralized configuration for all those agents. So you can set the configurations of, also for particular agents that you need to be pushed. So this configuration is about the manager, like what things it will be monitoring and whatnot. And you can also integrate Slack and virus total pager duty, so you can also get alerts if on your Slack channel if any particular event is triggered. Then there is the status of it, shows the status of all your Wazuh manager, and there are logs related to the agent and manager. Then there, if you are running Wazuh manager as a cluster, then there is cluster setting. And for the reporting, you can export reports related to different events and vulnerabilities, and then you can share that report with the your CISOs and all the security team that are monitoring the events and SIEM solution, so they can take particular action related to those reports. Then there is the agent section. It lists out all the agents that are connected to the system and shows their status if they are connected or disconnected. And you can check all the security events, integrity monitoring, and all that stuff that we previously talked about. And there is then a security configuration assessment. So over here it shows that what configuration assessments have been failed on the particular system. Like if it is a Windows system, and you can see that there were vulnerabilities about network. There was some rules about network security configuration of NTLM hashes that was not encrypted, and that security configuration failed. And the one you can see over here, ensure decom is enabled, is passed. So there are different configuration that it checks and let you know if which configuration are failed and which are passed, so you can act accordingly and enable secure configurations on your system. And then there is a discover section. And discover section, what it does is it gives you an in-depth detail about all the events and logs that are being generated on the manager, and you can take a deeper look at the whole event and get a better understanding about that, and get a timestamp when that event happened. You can add custom filters over here, like if you want to check which agent it was that those events triggered on, you can also add that filter. And you can also add a filter of what what is the IP of that agent and things like that. And then there is tab tool. It is just a front-end interface to communicate with the API of Wazuh, and you can configure it all over here. And it lists out if there are any agents that are connected to the system. You can also get the manager information, and if you want to delete any agent, you can also do that over here. And I will be covering Wazuh API also in the upcoming videos, so you don't have to uh, get confused up over here. So those will be covered. And then there are different settings of Wazuh manager, like if, over here you can configure the API of Wazuh. And then there are configurations related to the uh, indexes that are being stored in the Elasticsearch, and there are different settings that are defined over here. Then there are logs of Kibana and Elasticsearch, and there's the about info. So this is pretty much it related to the overview of what are the things that are in Kibana and what you will be getting into. And we will be getting into much detail in the upcoming videos. So if you like this video, do subscribe to our channel, like, comment down below if you need any help setting up, or if you are facing any errors. And if you have any question, do let us know so we can give you a particular answer and help you out. So thanks for watching and stay tuned for more.